Kyle, are you ready to jump some ponds, pull some weeds, plant some flowers? I don't know what else. Buy some luggage. I bet there's luggage in Animal Crossing, right?
And tickets. Plane tickets.
Oh, plane tickets, yeah, on your Nook phone.
And Nook Miles. See, I knew a thing.
You did do it. You knew a thing. I'm proud of you. So you down with this?
Oh, yeah.
We're taking a break this week to discuss the most recent HeyTrainer Mafia game. HeyTrainer, oh boy, I already forgot. Happy Town Friends, I do believe. Yes. Exciting. I'm joined, as usual, by Kyle. And with us are the two individuals, hi Kyle, sorry, that helped run the game. Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn.
Hello.
Hi. And Philip, how are you two?
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. Thanks for the game.
Oh, yeah, it was...
Okay, cool. All right. So in this game, we had Jellyfisher, John Knee Bones, T-Cards, myself, Absol Trainer, JD Koopa, Maddie Stacks, Pathicus, A-Wasp, Tomahawk, Atarian, Weiss on Ice, and Master Moo Cow. First, I got to ask, though. This goes out to both of you. Carolyn, you can answer first. Ladies first. Why Animal Crossing?
Because I love the series.
Okay. Okay.
And at first we wanted to do like a very friendly, like, let's all be nice, and then it turned into Snark Town, but we'll go into that later.
Hang on. Are you saying that in the design it went into Snark Town, or just in the game it went into Snark Town?
In the design.
I think what they're saying is that the place we were called was referred to as Snark Town, but actually the island was Fire Festival 2 Electric Bonerloo.
No, I don't think that won.
No.
It was that, or the other one was we kept getting Poteet's Massive Island.
Yeah.
And they just kept sending that to me, and I was like, why?
Why didn't it win? It had the most votes, right?
We weren't voting.
You're stuffing the ballot. You gotta count the mail-in votes.
They harvested ballots.
This wasn't a democracy.
They had the winner picked the entire time. What's the point of
voter
voting?
suppression. You guys aren't taking our votes.
No. It's not a democracy.
Okay. All right. Philip, you like Animal Crossing too, right?
Yes, I do. Very much so.
How many hours do you have on the new one?
We're not going to talk about that.
Okay. Can you give me a ballpark in between, give or take 40?
If we say 450, nobody's going to judge me, right?
Do you really have 450 hours on that?
It was quarantine.
That's a lot.
And I lost my
Carolyn,
job.
how many hours do you have?
Like 200.
Oh my gosh. 456. You guys, you've done a lot.
It's a problem.
Who's your guys' favorite Animal Crossing characters, and did they make it into this game?
Mine is Meringue, and funny enough, MMC decided to fake claim Meringue. She's a really cute rhino baker. So.
Okay. Philip, who's your favorite character?
Mine is Goldie, because it's one of the ones we had in the original Animal Crossing. Okay. And yes, she is on my island.
Okay, was she on the island in this game, though? No.
No.
Right?
No, we randomized all the characters.
That was my next question. How did you come upon the individuals in this game? Just random?
We randomized them.
Okay. So there was absolutely no correlation between the Mafia members of the murdered Abel parents, Don Rossetti, and Dr. Shrunk?
Well, those... So for those, we had a theme.
Okay, what's the theme?
The theme was NPCs who are not in the current game, Animal Crossing New Horizons, or in the case of the murdered Abel parents, never really made it into the game at all.
Okay. And then what about there were 2 independents in this game as well. Myself as Mr. Rossetti and Jellyfisher as Rosie. I want to skip actually why they're in the game. There were 13 players in this game. There were 8 town, 2 indies, and 3 mafia members. Either one of you, how did you come to the numbers on that? 8v5 feels a little harsh for the town. Kyle's inching me. Give me the info. I need the deets.
I don't know. I just asked Philip what I should do, what we should have in the game, and then he said, "This is what we're gonna do," and I said, "Okay."
Okay, yeah. All right.
So
balls in your court, Philip.
So I've done a lot of chat room mafia games where it's a 8-3-2 setup with 8 town, 3 mafia, 2 independent.
Okay.
And in general, it seems to work out. And since this was a smaller game, I wanted to try having a model that I somewhat knew kind of worked.
Were you pleased with it?
I think it turned out pretty well, considering, the town only managed to courageously confront 1 mafia member.
That's true. That's okay. Carolyn, you were, were you happy with it? How the game went out?
Honestly, I just read the parts where people were arguing about stuff, and then because my job is just really crazy during this time of year, and so yeah, and then I did a lot of the writing for the day and night with Philip.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take you guys to make all the rolls?
Hey, before we go there, can I just have a... Yeah.
Yeah, by all means. Raise your hand next time.
I'm sorry. So...
Just kidding.
We had 3 true anti-town people and 2 people working in their own interest for a total of 5 non-town players. And my counterpoint would be that we had 4 anti-town versus 12 town in the last game, which was a sweep. And now we had 8 versus 5. And you might say, well, 2 of those were not on the same team. But my counterpoint would be that there was nothing in the independents' roles that seemed to indicate that they had any interest to play on the town side when push came to shove. They had no true reason to scum hunt other than not to get voted for, right? And so, but in comparison, coming off of a game where it was 12-4, I just want to know if you have a counterpoint to why 8 versus 3 versus 2 was justified.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not talking over Carolyn, because I don't see her face, unlike Graham and you making all these faces I have to try not to laugh at.
My bad.
The idea, whether or not it actually worked out in execution, was that so Jellyfisher, he could only win by himself, but the way his role was set up, he could only choose to influence either the day or the night. Graham could win with either the town or the Mafia, but he couldn't win with Jellyfisher. And then the Mafia could win with Graham, but they would flat out lose to Jellyfisher. So it was a little hate triangle there.
But were any of them aware of these competing interests?
All of them certainly had hints, flat out said no, and that might have been a mistake in game design.
That would be my one thing, is that it's okay to have multiple anti-town factions, but they have to have, in my opinion, some reason not to be working in each other's goals as well. So the fact that Poteet really didn't need to hunt Mafia, he just kind of needed to, not what? Come on. And Jellyfisher, well, he also was kind of just like in a survival mode. I felt like, and my last thing, I don't want to harp on this forever, but what was there a protector role in the end?
There was not.
What was the cause for that choice? Sorry if I'm stepping on your questions, but
no, it's fine. You do your thing.
So, part of it is because, honestly, the Protector has always been kind of useless in terms of actually saving somebody. But the idea of a Protector is always been far more useful in terms of making the Mafia choose. So, if we instead put in a different role, and they don't know if there's not a Protector, they still need to go through all of that logic, and the town has something else that they can actually use. And they did actually go through that entire process the night they killed Tomahawk.
I guess my sticking point for in that case would be, yes, we went over on the last pod, Protectors by and large are a failure and usually do not ever hit despite all the targets that they get off. But my counterpoint would be, why are we nerfing the town? Because the town loses in a regular number of times already as it is.
Well, also, just with the 13-player game, if you have a Protector and you have Tomahawk, as soon as Tomahawk, the Seer, said, oh, hey, I'm the Seer, then, they can just pretty much play Follow the Cop.
Yeah.
So,
you're not wrong.
Did it work out as a design choice? Maybe, maybe not. But it's something I know I wanted to experiment with, and Carolyn didn't yell at me and say, no, please don't do this, so...
So you did it. I remember what I was asking now, Kyle.
I apologize. But it's too late to apologize.
The pod's over. See you guys later. Thanks for coming on. Well, no, I was asking the roles. How long did it take you to write all these? Because they were all very punny.
I think it took us I think we worked on it for a month and a half.
Oh my god.
But it's because I was working, so we'd only write on Saturday or Sunday or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's why it took us so long to write it. And then it became like what was just funny to me and Philip at the time. And so that's how we came up with our roles. Was we said, is it funny to either of us? Yes? Okay, it makes it into the game. Is it not funny? Okay, it's not making it into the game. So that's how we came up with our roles. Or at least the flavor text.
Right. I actually had a question I wanted to ask before, so I completely skipped over. Why 13 players?
Because that's the model I had to work off of.
It was off the 823. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then you came to craft this game. Were there any roles that you cut? Because there were 2 vanilla towns. Is that right? And a vanilla mafia.
We didn't cut anything.
So you've strictly designed to this end game the entire time, or end total?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nothing left on the scrap heap. That would be an exciting scoop. Dang it. Okay.
I know. I'm so sorry to disappoint.
Sorry, I'll make it through the day.
Oh, I'm also not sorry, so.
I know you're not. It's okay. We're gonna go straight. We're gonna go straight into the day. Day 1. Weiss on Ice gets killed. Why did Weiss on Ice get killed? Do you guys know why? Because I don't know why yet.
No.
I don't know either. I think it was just they just needed to pick somebody and they waited until the last minute. And then his flavor text, I guess, was kind of weird. So I think that's how he ended up dying.
Mm-hmm.
The flavor text, his role, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of your standard, oh, hey, let's kill somebody on day one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Weiss just happened to not be able to turn them away.
Yeah. So, all right. I'm good with that. It's a standard. I don't know how I feel about a rushed. We have to confront someone on day one when there's only 13 players in the game. Seems a little forced to me. Maybe that's with the hindsight of looking at it, knowing that it was an 8-2-3, and already you're going down to 7v, essentially 5, 4.5, whatever. Maybe from the town, you don't kill anybody there. Is that bad? Is that bad theory? Kyle, help me out here. Is he doing math on this?
No.
How you feel about
I was
this?
looking at my posts.
Oh, okay. All one of them?
No. I was looking at save posts.
Oh, okay. Do you think a no confrontation here is viable?
Yeah, I can see it.
How important is a roll card here on day one in a 13-player game?
I think you can afford to let it go, but again, like we play in a game that's so harsh to everybody that like you let it go, and then the next day everyone's like, whoever let it go, we have to tackle that person because they obviously didn't have our best interest in mind. And then if the person who says like we should like maybe let this one go, and instead the town goes in either direction and they remove someone from the game, and that person turns out to be town. The next day it's, I told you we should have let this one go. Brr. So there's like, you can't really win.
Right. Yeah. So we go in the night one. An Absol trainer gets night killed. We can go in that to a second, but I do want to actually discuss something that happens going into the day phase, and that is the Tom Nook shop.
Mm-hmm.
There were, I believe it was 3 players each day that were able to shop at Tom Nook.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
Nobody was Tom Nook in the game. Correct?
No.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't Tom Nook's shop. It was the Timmy and Tommy who were just like flavored text. They were
Right.
they were in the intro. So.
Right. Nobody's controlling the shop is what I'm getting at here.
Right.
Yeah. No.
So, how were you selecting each day? 3 players had the chance to purchase stuff from there. How did you pick which 3 players?
Random.org.
Random. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Was it? Did you dartboard? Okay. It was the same thing for the items that were in there, because I believe there was like there were a couple different items on different days, and there was like the bug net later in the game that was not available on the first night.
Mm-hmm.
And like a flimsy slingshot. Was there a flimsy slingshot at any point?
No.
Or it's just a megaphone?
No, there was only normal slingshots.
Okay.
We wrote, I think, like 10 or 12 items.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just picked random ones, but because Renee's needed the slingshot, that's why that one kept coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But
And what did the umbrella do?
Nothing.
Fantastic.
It just made you feel good.
Okay.
You felt
like,
as if you had a
so
real
you can
friend.
protect one of your friends from the rain. That was the whole purpose. So nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. We'll go back to Absol Trainer. Did you, both of you, did you feel at the time that he was the proper night kill?
Especially after reading back, I do.
Ooh, okay. Okay. What about you, Carolyn? Oh, go ahead, Philip.
No. I'm not gonna. It's Carolyn's turn.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought so too, because he had probably the best reads day one. Do I remember any of them? No, but I do remember that they were probably the best reads. And he also used the letter better than we thought that anyone was going to. So because people typically never use those kinds of roles, we didn't really think about it. And then he wrote this huge essay that no one actually read, I don't think.
Nope.
I read it.
Oh, you did?
He sent it to me.
Yeah. In that, he got, what,
2?
3 out of 5 anti-town people?
He did good. He did good.
Yeah.
All right, so we finally get rolling into day 2, and we get a Mafia on the chopping block in the form of a Pathicus, and it doesn't go through. Were you guys frustrated with this day as much as I was?
I very much was.
Mm-hmm.
Because, especially day 3, they ended it early, I believe. And we're not getting ahead of ourselves, but I heard people saying, oh, it's because it ended in the morning that we missed our courageous confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
When the very next day they proved they can end the day 12 hours early, no problem.
Right.
Can you refresh the audience's memory? What was the case against Pathicus at that time?
I believe it's because, one, he wasn't playing at all, really, and then his flavor text, and he was another lazy villager claim, which, I mean, it turns out to be nothing, but...
Yeah, I believe that was HeyTrainer's evidence against him on day 1, was that we had a repeat claim of... that trait, quote-unquote. And then I think... Wait, is this the day? No, this wasn't. This is... I'm getting ahead of myself, but yeah, okay.
So, in the flavor text, the town, if I remember correctly, I didn't duplicate the personalities types. So, there was that one line that was bolded in the flavor text, and those were all based off of the different personalities. So someone picks up on that later, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah,
I mean, we randomized it, and
I wasn't sure in the moment if that was just like a coinkydink or if that was intentional. So thanks for clearing that up.
It was intentional. So that was the only thing in the flavor text that was consistent.
Let's go there now. There's no reason we can't go there now. So Johnny Bones discovers that there's a bunch of text from the wiki on certain players, and he points out, I think it was 4 players. I'm going to find the post while you guys talk more about it, but it's 3 or 4 players that either didn't match the wiki or didn't even have an entry, and it was a pretty damning list, if I remember correctly.
So I had read that, and I was like, oh man, that means that town might be getting it. And then I came back to the game like a day later or something, and I was like, wow, why are they killing him?
It was not good.
Yeah.
Because he made that fantastic list. HeyTrainer called people out. Tomahawk called people out, and time after time again, they just ignored everything these people were saying. And then they died, and they still ignored it.
So I know Poteet later in the game was also on the Pathicus train, even though like at times you couldn't vote for him. So I want to
voted for him on day 2.
The rest of the rest of us, I'd like to try to enter the psyche of town and say, like, okay, despite this evidence against Pathicus being on Johnny Bones' list, which is one of the rare few things that it seems pretty concrete in the game, why is this lead not followed? Yeah, let's just answer that question. Why do you think this lead isn't followed? If you could put yourself in town's shoes, why don't you treat this seriously?
Well, what it looked like, I think, to me when I was reading it was that town was like self-imploding on themselves. Like the day before that, Maddie was like, "Oh my god, why can't you see that my role's terrible and I'm town and blah blah blah." And then, which is fair, right? And then from him, then we have T cards who's like, doesn't seem like he's necessarily reading, because he doesn't say, he doesn't follow through with things, or at least he doesn't follow through with things, right? So he'll have like an idea, and then he'll kind of backslide and not follow through with anything. And he didn't. We didn't understand too when we were because we talked about it, like how he was the only lazy in the actual game, but didn't argue anything about being lazy versus the other ones that were lazy, the other two. And it was just by chance that the Mafia had picked two lazy characters, because they had picked Alfonso and Boomer, which are both lazy in the game. So I was thinking like, oh man, the two are gonna be eliminated because T Cards is gonna say, wait, I'm lazy. Potentially looking at Johnny's list, right? And go, wow, this makes sense. I'm lazy. I should really push that. I know that my flavor text isn't wrong. And then he didn't do it. I don't remember what he did. He just like kind of let himself die.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny Bones makes the post about some suspicious. He follows it up, and his can't find match. The list is myself, Master Mookow, JD Koopa. So you have an indie and two hostiles on it right there. Master Mookow lived to the end of the game. JD Koopa was already dead, and I had already proved that I couldn't be confronted during the day. I'm getting back into the Kyle's mindset of getting in the town. Why is Cal not killed? Why?
Cal? See, I think in general this. So my thought for this list, like, why is, because this is a trend, right, of important lists kind of being ignored in the middle of a Mafia game that come up. And so my thought for this one was that people must have just considered Johnny Bones not a reliable source, because for much of the game he was considered like the lowest on their tier list or their scale of town to Mafia players, because he was, I think immediately prior to that, he was like up at the top of the voting list at the time. And so I think people just like weren't seeing it as almost like a obsessive thing. They had been thrown around that maybe he was an indie, he was looking for quotes. And I think also, Graham, you heard his case by also being suspicious of some of the same people, because people were suspicious of you. So you were also an unreliable source in the town's opinion. So I think,
though I was honest almost all game.
It was just like some circumstances made it so that town didn't treat either of these people's hunches as things they should be listening to.
Well, it also didn't help, in my opinion, that Matty Stacks also didn't match up. And Matty Stacks ended up imploding. And part of that was...
No, go ahead.
Yeah, part of that is because Matty Stacks... Oh, Matty.
Go ahead, talk to Matty.
Matty Stacks claimed that he had no bolded flavor text when he did, and it was, I believe his was the reference to this podcast, Hidden Roleplay.
Oh, it was.
Thanks, Matt. No free ads, I guess, is his motto.
Yeah, and one of his quotes toward the end of his run was, "I don't post my role text quote because I don't break the rules." Break, or BRAKE.
Oh no!
And clearly that would have been breaking the rules, because everyone was allowed to do it and there were no warnings issued. So it was just a personal, like, I play by my own rules. And what's funny to me about that is that he had good points this game. Like, I have a post in front of me where he says Pathicus's whole charade of asking questions as if it would lead him to a different conclusion is comical. I hope Pathicus's Mafia would make more sense than this idiotic conclusion he's come to. So
Oh yeah,
he had a
Matty
really strong
Stacks.
Pathicus hunch at one point in the game, but he again comes off as a non-credible source, I think, just based on some other positions he took in the game. Like, I don't want to contribute to the conversation unless we vote for Poteet today, and I'm not going to share part of my text, and just have in general having the very negative role that he had, obviously.
Speaking of his role, could anything positive come from the presents?
oh yeah.
Yeah, he just got bad luck.
Oh, so it was all randomized too. There's no schedule of gifts. What was the good stuff? Tell us what the good stuff would have been.
It would have been a random 100% useful item. So not like
like one of the ones at the shop.
Yeah. So
Okay.
not like the umbrella or a slingshot, but it would have been a useful item. And it just happened that he got spiders twice.
Poor Matthew Stacks. Do we feel bad for him? I don't feel bad for him. Okay. All right. So that's day 2. We don't get the kill on Pathicus. That's okay. We'll get him next day. We're not going to get him next day. Spoiler alert. So at nighttime, let's see. Who was it that got killed night 2? Awast. I don't remember why. I don't even remember. I'm going to be honest. Love you, Awast. I don't even remember him being in this game. It was quiet Awast game.
Did you guys remember him voting for me.
Of course you do. Did you feel at the time that Awast was the correct night 2 kill? Let's go to Carolyn first.
I think it made sense because he had said, I think if I remember correctly, day 1 he had said kind of what his role was, and he could potentially like move things around, and so I think that was the reason why they had done him in.
Mm-hmm. Actually, before you answer, Philip, I had a role like this one time in one of my games, and I swear you said that it's always Mafia that gets this. What's going on here? Want to talk about this?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. The swapper from Town of Salem, that's obviously a town role.
Uh-huh.
This wasn't just a swapper. It was a mover in a boomerang.
Okay, all right, okay.
Also, I was thinking of you when I said to Carolyn, hey, why don't we do this?
Thanks. Thank you so much. I believed it was town, too, when he said what it was, because I was like, oh, they're messing with me.
I do think that he was the right kill. Because he was the first one, I think it was his first post, he claimed his character and his role. People generally believed that Awast was town. Even if it wasn't doing all that much, it was still, this is somebody who we aren't really going to get courageously confronted during the day, so if we have no other good leads, let's take him out now.
He was quite
I don't remember
by
his
standards, right?
Yeah.
Right?
And he had he also moved the item too, so you weren't originally supposed to get the letter from
That's nice. Thank
Absol.
Mm-hmm.
And he had chosen you as, I think, player 2 to get, or player 1 to from him. So that's how you ended up with his letter.
I loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
Put it on my bulletin board.
Oh,
in
yeah.
my Nook house with hang on, the bells. I don't play Animal Crossing. I have no idea. All this to be said, we go into day 3. It's time to kill a Pathicus. No. Tomahawk gets a seer, and it's JD Koopa. Is there anything else we need to talk about this day? The seer hit, the seer outed. Okay, that's what we can talk about. We good with the seer outing themselves right now? Right there, day 3?
I thought it was early.
Okay.
I
thought it was... Never mind. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Because I thought that because he was playing so low activity, he might have tried to at least get another sear off before outing himself like that. So it surprised me. I thought he was gonna at least wait one more night before doing that.
Mm-hmm. Now, it should be noted that this is essentially a nerfed seer because it was just based on the species of animal, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't necessarily nerfed because the 3 animals that were Mafia are not the animals that you can be in the game.
Okay, that makes sense.
Your villager friends.
Okay.
So, if the person knew anything about, and granted, I don't know if Tomahawk knows anything about it, but if you know anything about the thing, if you sear it and you saw it, then you would say, "Oh,
Okay.
they're not an actual animal that you can get."
Okay, that makes sense then.
Or it's, oh hey, they lied about what animal they are.
Yeah.
Why would they have lied?
Well, I didn't know if there was like a slight chance that they could say they were a certain animal and be correct.
No, there was no way. All 3 of them had to lie about their animal.
Mm-hmm.
No safe claims, right?
No safe claims.
Excellent. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
So
Can
yeah,
I
so
speak
really
in defense of Tomahawk?
Oh, okay, sure.
I would have done exactly what he did for a couple of reasons. One, he has some measure of respect, even if he has not performed well in the previous games, like leading up to this one. People would have considered him to be like one of the bigger name players. So I think even though he wasn't posting, that he would have been someone that would have been considered a threat just by virtue of his name. And I also think that the town was like
gonna fuck it up again.
Yeah, gonna mess up again. Like this is coming off the day with no vote, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty bad. So we need to right this ship. And then lastly, I think in his case, I would have safely assumed like, well, I'll be protected tonight. And that was not an option.
Yeah, I agree with you because I'm going to disagree with Carolyn. He definitely made the right play, in my opinion, because every night he's potentially going to get killed. The town is doing not very well at this point. You just came off a day where you missed the day kill. He has a Mafia, and he places a vote at the start of the day without any explanation to see if people would take that anywhere, and he's completely ignored. So, would he have outed himself as a seer if they had actually asked him about his vote? Maybe still, but I mean, the town was not doing very well at that point. I don't believe they were even talking about killing Pathicus again at that point either.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I also remember going into day 2 thinking, oh man, maybe town got it this time. And then day 3 happened.
Yeah, so I definitely think that he did the right thing. And he couldn't have known that there wasn't a way to protect him, so based on all that, yeah.
Also based on all that, I'm surprised that he's the night 3 kill. The Mafia just well, I skimmed through Mafia chat, and so you two would be better off telling me this if I missed it. Did they consider that he could be being protected that night, or by then had they kind of deduced that maybe there's not a protector role in the game?
No, they thought there was a protector role the whole game.
So they just decided to go for it on night 3?
Yeah.
It was go big or go home.
Wow.
Because there were only 2 of them left, and yeah, they decided they had to go for it, and it was a good choice on their part, but
it's a good play.
They definitely squirmed.
I definitely think it was because his list was so good. His Mafia were Hoopa, Jellyfisher, Pathicus, and his indies were Poteet, and that's 4 out of 5, and he only thought there were 4, so He was
yeah.
hitting on all cylinders, so I'm certain town would have listened to him the next day, and he would have gone for someone in that bottom bracket. So
Yeah, he actually the next day was looking at Jellyfisher and would have gotten that he was a cat, and I think he lied about.
No, he still claimed he was a cat,
Oh, okay.
but it would have made him go after Pathkiss, and it definitely would have made him re-inspect his reads for finding that last Mafia. He was only wrong about Master Mukau, and I have comments about Master Mukau later.
Ooh, teaser.
But yeah, it was. If Mafia hadn't killed Tomahawk, I'm actually not sure they would have won.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I agree with that. Tomahawk goes down. Day 4. Matthew Stacks implosion.
Oh,
Phil,
Maddie.
you want to talk about this?
Or
actually also, I didn't even. I'm just gonna drop a bombshell on you guys right now. Philip, you talked to me after the game and said you guys were gonna make a post about this. You want to say anything right now about certain actions?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we can honestly keep it really brief.
All right. Let me get comfortable. Okay.
There was a lot of toxic play in this game. A lot of people went over the line with insults. Some people more than others. Maddie was one of them, and that's not something we're going to let continue into future games. Now, I've been on this podcast a few times by now.
Sweet brag.
I know, right? Well, it's so much fun coming back every time. So, I run a few games on this site. I know you two also are rather tired of the behavior that's gone on, and we've all seen that it drives away both new players and old players don't want to come back because of it. So, to do a sort of final stand against this, I know in my games there's going to be a new rule that if you go over the line, if you make needless personal insults about play like you're an idiot, or I know there were comments about Kyle, oh wow, you're worthless, you should have just not signed up when there were when there were 2 game days left. And it makes people feel like if you're not on all the time, then you shouldn't be playing. So, in light of all that, the new rule will be if you make a post that crosses the line in any way like that, you will be sent a PM with that post, an explanation of what you did, and if you do another insult or cross the line again, you will be mod killed. That'll be it, and you'll be banned from the next game.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's well said.
And we both talked about it a lot too, because I was like getting kind of frustrated because like even my new friends who are potentially looking at playing the game and then seeing posts that are like, oh, you're a shitbag, blah blah blah. It's like they don't want to they're like, that's toxic as fuck, why are you playing in that game? So we want to make it so it's actually fun for people, and being criticized, like spending 5 days being criticized over something mundane is not really fun. I don't think for anybody. And then it's like the other thing is like, feels like when people spend too much time on that, they're not really engaging in the game. They're just like pissed off at somebody, and so it gives them like an out to be a shitbag about it, and that's not really cool. It's not really in the spirit of the game to be like that, so. And it's a really crappy tactic, like, to intentionally do that to make someone feel bad about themselves, so.
Yeah,
I concur.
Yeah.
Yep. All agreement here. All right, so yeah, we go on this day. Matt says some things, but okay. Now, I haven't talked about it, but I had a pretty good list night 2 myself in a chat with Pathicus, where I nailed the 3 Mafia and the other indie. But yeah, roll your eyes, Kyle. I'm okay with this confrontation.
Graham, that's interesting because I here have a list that you put in order where you put in order of preference to CC. I would remove Johnny Bones, then Maddie, then JD Koopa. That's interesting.
I don't want to piss off the Mafia to stay alive, Kyle.
Oh, okay.
It's very simple. Anyway, I'm fine. I'm fine with this kill, even if I was a straight town member. This one felt right, because to no fault of his own, having back-to-back vote blocks come out, and then you're like, I don't have bold text, and I don't know what the things do. I'm sorry, but that's sketchy. So I don't really blame outside. I mean, I blame him for the little implosion at the end, but in terms of the case against him, I don't really blame him. Like Kyle pointed out, a good post he made. It's not that he was making necessarily terrible posts. It's just he looked bad.
Oh yeah, I went back and he had some good points on days 1 and day 2.
He was playing pretty well.
After that, it did not go well. And like even Tomahawk, before he died, said, I feel that Maddie just got unlucky with his role.
Mm-hmm.
And Maddie doesn't point to any of that. He did have bold text.
That's his fault,
just didn't check. So in parts it's his fault. Him getting drunk on the last day and
never a good look.
I'm going to say this now. Can people stop getting drunk and playing this game? It just doesn't turn out well.
You're trying to take away all the fun now.
Yes. I mean, that's a personal choice, but it doesn't end up well. You're on the chopping block and you're trying to defend yourself and you're drunk.
But how am I supposed to prove my town cred if I'm not allowed to come and post during the night phase that I'm town? Would a wolf do that?
All right. So Matt gets axed, and then nighttime. Matty axed. Yeah, Matty axed. Then Johnny Bones gets killed at night, or his bracelet stolen. Sorry, I've been doing this all wrong. Nobody's getting killed. They're getting the bracelet stolen from friendship. And the
miracle of friendship.
And this is, I'm going to guess you guys will agree with me, the absolute correct bracelet stealing here. Because day 4 was the day that Johnny posted all those lists, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And so, as we said, these were good lists, unlike my lists. So, yeah, right, Carolyn? This is the good steal, right?
Oh,
I think so.
Yeah, the obvious one. Yeah.
And that's where I start to despair at the town, because all of these people are killed because of their lists, and the town doesn't think, oh, hey, maybe this person was really right about something. Let's kill them.
Yeah, is this about to be the 4th Mafia recap we've done in a row, where we're going to ask people to look back at the previous day posts?
Oh yeah. I even
have a role that says that.
Oh yeah, we had in bold flavor text. I have a big in caps note right here. Town needs to start looking back I also have stopped using the HeyTrainer online function for calling out lurkers.
That happens this game, yeah.
And then AWAS,
so
if you
bad.
read his flavor text, it says, "Yo, am I having deja vu, Sugar Muffins? Didn't we just talk about this the last game day? You wouldn't know because you didn't read the last game day." That was our flavor text for him. So we had intentionally, because we're kind of annoyed, taken like people's quotes and stuff and then stuck them in the roles.
I'm well aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a personal zinger in mind. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
I
that.
know.
You're welcome.
All right. So Johnny dies, and we go into gets his bracelet stolen. We go into what ended up being the final day. And good old T cards.
Oh, T cards.
Bites the dust. He gets confronted and leaves the island. And I have nothing to say about this day.
Didn't he have like a lucid fever dream moment of clarity? And all of a sudden he was like, "Oh my God, it's Master Moo Cow."
He did. He was drunk.
Oh, so I'm sorry. T cards just needs to always play drunk, I guess.
Yeah. Nobody else but T cards can play drunk. Yeah, he has a. It was when Maddie was about to go down. He goes, "Wait a sec. The Mafia is just giving us good stuff." He's like, "Don't vote Maddie. Vote Moo Cow. Why would he give you cookies?" And at the time, I thought that's ridiculous, T cards. But wait a sec.
The other thing was, he waited until like right before his vote to mention that he knows he's like the vanilla lazy, and he couldn't have said that like pages ago.
Why couldn't he have said it pages ago?
No, I mean like he didn't. Like he should have.
Okay.
He should have had like that go off, that light bulb go off earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like I guess he needed to drink alcohol to realize that.
You had to drink it to read it. So yeah, this actual confrontation is pretty anticlimactic, and if I remember correct, it's just one town, and then the two Mafia and Jelly are on it. So you have three of the, if you count me, 3 of the 4 remaining non-towns left. And that leads to a very interesting night 5 where the game was going to end regardless, correct?
Uh-huh.
But it could have gone one of 2 ways. So one of you, whoever would like to, go ahead and run us through what was going on in night 5 behind the scenes.
Okay. So, going into night 5, you have 2 Mafia alive in Master Moo Cow and Pathicus. You have Atarian, the only town member left. I'm still impressed by that. And then you have Graham, who he doesn't care, except then he did. And that was that was the best message I've ever sent you. And you have Jellyfisher. So, if the Mafia chose to try and take the friendship bracelet off of Graham or off of Atarian, then Jellyfisher at the start of the next day hits his win condition and he wins single-handed. If the Mafia targets Jellyfisher, then the Mafia and Graham both win. And there's no way the town could win. So, regardless of who was targeted, the game was over.
And they chose Jellyfisher. Yay!
They did. They almost chose you.
I think you've forgotten one outcome, choosing Poteet.
No, because then Jellyfisher wins.
Yeah.
But I thought you wouldn't be removed.
I wouldn't.
No, but
I couldn't win with Jellyfisher.
Oh, yeah, this is the best part. So Graham messages me on Facebook and says, "Okay, so I win, right?" And I tell him he wins with the town or the Mafia. They're not a third party. What was it you said right back to me, Graham?
Oh, I'll find it. Hang on. I was not thrilled. I know that much. I gotta scroll through all the freaking out that I did.
I was so happy about that. But it did happen in the end that, Graham won because they chose to target Jellyfisher.
I used some curse words. And then I said, I know you have to say that. And then you told me the truth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was very happy to tell you that truth.
That hurt. Jelly was, in my opinion, the most interesting role in the game.
Oh, he definitely was.
And honestly, nobody even paid attention to him. The flowers, that people talked about the weeds, maybe only because I brought up what they did.
I brought up the flowers to Tomahawk.
The flowers got brought up a couple times, but like nobody ever really talked about it outside of that. How?
I don't know. And then even in the Mafia chat,
what did you expect them to do about it?
I guess, but
talk about it, try and even say, oh, hey, this flower is hissing at me.
Yeah, the flowers were hostile in the updates.
Yeah,
but also, no matter what you did to the map, there was a response. So, like, what was, how are you supposed to determine that one thing means something, but another thing doesn't?
Because the flowers were in the update, like the day updates.
Mm-hmm. The flowers and the weeds were the only things mentioned in the day updates by name.
Yeah, I think after day 1. Because I think in the first day, if I remember, I had said something about the coconuts and the fruits on the tree and stuff. But after that, there was always a line about the flowers growing, the flowers becoming more and more hostile over time, and then the weeds moving.
Love me some weeds.
I mean, the Mafia did, in that last day, say, well, we've ignored everything the mods have told us about the flowers up until this point. They also thought that Poteet was in charge of the flowers, though.
I'm just a regular gardener. What can I say? I like weeds, I like flowers, I like them all. Nothing wrong with that. All right. So that game ends. That Mafia kills Jellyfisher at night. I win because I went alongside the Mafia. So congratulations, JD Koopa, Pathicus, and Master Mukau. Honestly, played a pretty good game. If it weren't for Johnny Bones' little epiphany, probably would have been a little easier, even at the end, even though it was still pretty easy, I think, for them. Is that fair? I feel bad saying that. That sounds... Let's just go to grades. We can talk about it more in there.
I think that the Mafia played well, and they were somewhat fortunate that certain things weren't looked into a bit harder than they were.
Fortunate's a good word.
Because there were some things that we'll talk about that came up that we were like, oh man, that means that they're dead.
Okay,
and then they don't die.
I didn't say that with quite that level of enthusiasm, but...
That happens all the time in my games, yes. I think someone just made a major slip up and then either no one notices or somehow it gets spun. But so whatever. All right, we're going to go to grades. Cal, you don't have any grades, correct? Excellent. I do not have any especially since I lasted to the end of this game. So we're going to go right to it. We're going to go player roster. No favorites here. We're going to start right away with me. We just talked about it a little bit. Jellyfisher. Philip, I'm going to let Carolyn go first on these. Ladies first.
I'm good with that.
So Carolyn, Jellyfisher. Give me your thoughts on how Jelly did this game.
I thought he was a B, because he did survive until the end of the game. He did kind of do a little bit of coasting so that no one would focus too much on him. I think I remember reading some of his puns and being like, no, neither of us would have thought that was funny, but that's okay. Where he came up with his American Idol role.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it was based off of, and I was like, no way. No one.
I would have.
I would have thought it was funny. 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 I would have thou
I
You would
would
have
have.
thought it was. Okay.
I thought it was really funny.
Oh, brother connection right there.
Okay, I guess it is a brother connection because I read it and I face palmed.
I remember reading it and thinking it was weird.
Well, I also gave Jellyfisher a B, because he pretty much had to play as vanilla the entire game. He got one use of his roll-off, and that was day chatting one time with one person.
Congrats.
Because night one, AWASP moved his role to the dead guy.
Feels bad.
Or, no, that was night 2, yeah. But, yeah. So he had to play as vanilla the entire game, because he was practically forced into using the day chat instead of any other role. He made some mistakes. I have notes on Jellyfisher. I have had extensive conversations with Jellyfisher.
You also live with him.
Yes, I live with him. So basically, my notes on Jellyfisher are he played well, but also he was dead set on his Mafia reads, which were entirely incorrect. He did his big bluff on the last day, which is why he got killed at night, because he thought Atarian was Mafia and did the bluff to him. Or rather, he said the bluff that he was making in the town chat is fake, and he thought that Atarian was Mafia, so he wouldn't be killed at night because of that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. That's Jelly. Johnny Bones. Carolyn. Your buddy here.
I have him at a high B because I thought when he figured out the flavor text, thought maybe people would believe him. But at the same time, I don't think he really built a case for himself in the prior day because he was kind of being a little snarky with people. So, and then he wasn't, I don't think he was like engaging with the game as much as other players were until he had the epiphany. So.
Yeah, I gave him a C. Which I know he had this amazing list at the end, and he caught people. But at the same time, the play he had up until that point, and then even afterwards, he couldn't manage to convince anyone that his list had merit, and he died because of it, and people probably should have looked back and seen that, but in the end, it was a list with all this correct information that everyone ignored because, oh, hey, Johnny Bones is bad at the game or he's Mafia.
I think I'm going to say one thought on him, even though I said I wasn't going to say anything. Kyle and I have said in the past that we felt like in the first couple of games that Johnny's played, he's gotten tunnel vision on certain days and wouldn't pivot to other things, and I felt like the list was by far the best he's contributed to a town so far because it gave multiple pivot points for the town to go. And I think if he would have just finalized the case a little better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if he had managed to actually get the case done on any one of those people, I think he could have snowballed that to a town victory.
But part of the problem wasn't his own fault, because if he had composed this list finally on like day 2, then maybe he would have had still more town cred at that point. But because he was being held back by people who were just like protesting helping him, like I can't remember the last couple people. I want to say T-Cards and Maddie maybe, but
T-Cards was one of them. Okay. Maddie claimed that he didn't have flavor, so that kind of held him back.
Ironically, now that I think about it, did Johnny Bones tunnel vision onto the list?
A little bit, but
I think he told me he kind of did, and then And he was also like kind of annoyed at some of the other players, and so that's kind of why he played the way he did.
Still, the fact that there was something there and he was able to, I wouldn't have thought there isn't going to be anything to be found from that, but I was wrong. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and he doesn't play Animal Crossing, so that was more impressive.
Yeah.
T cards. Our good old lazy bones. Is that why he's a lazy? Is that the joke? Lazy bones?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Carolyn.
I'm nice. I give him a C even though he played worse than that. I think
Give him a C even though.
I think that had he had his drunk epiphany like a day or two before the end of the game day, it would have been really helpful on his case, and then he would have maybe gone back and looked at Johnny's list and been like, oh man, I'm seeing some connections here. But he waited until like I think it was like 15 minutes before the day kill.
Yeah.
To make that connection, which is a little late.
Yeah. I know Philip's not going to be as nice.
He's not.
No, I gave him a C, and I'm revising my Johnny grade because I don't want to put him in the same category as T-Cards. So Johnny gets a B, and T-Cards gets a C because he was just there, honestly.
Kyle's laughing.
I mean, T-Cards has a continuing problem where he starts on something and then he backs off. And then he starts on something and he's right, and then he backs off.
I'm sorry, I was just imagining being in my classroom and assigning someone a D on their test, and then like I go to hand it to them and I like quickly scratch it out. And I'm like, well, you were here, so I'll give you a C.
Extra credit.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he wasn't terrible. He just wasn't good.
Okay.
My notes on him said he did bring up, why do you think HeyTrainer was killed? And then he backed off of that.
Finish your work, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Not hard. And kind of. Myself. Carolyn, go ahead.
I gave you
no
a
comments.
B. I thought actually your first 2 game days where you got everyone to do the weed stuff and then was actually super good, but then you didn't. And then I also had seen that list that you had given Pathicus, and Pathicus had read it and then sent me a DM and was like, oh my god, I just saw that. I think we're all dead. And then he had sent another one. He was like, oh my gosh, I think that I'm going to be the day target. And it didn't happen. So I thought you're beginning that gambit of doing that and getting people to like engage in that was really good. But then the rest of the game, I thought that because they were not focused on the weeds anymore, you kind of backed off. And I felt like you could have helped town a little bit more, but
didn't want to.
Okay. I have a couple of things to bring up about Poteet's play and related issues.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I gave you a B as well. I think that you started out well. You almost got Pathicus Lynch. Courageously confronted. You almost did it. In fact, that last game day, you were pushing for that. And they still went after T-Cards. So, funnily enough, Jellyfisher had an incorrect read on you. He thought you were Mafia. And Jellyfisher had also figured out exactly how to eliminate you. Because it was, you have to post in bold, pluck weeds, pull Poteet, some variation of that with minor differences if his weeds are outside of your house. And if both people do that, Poteet's gone. Just gone. Bye-bye, Graham. And Jellyfisher figured that out. It was like day 3. But he thought you were Mafia, so he didn't want to antagonize the Mafia, and so you lived. I was laughing so hard because I honestly thought he was going to do it, and then he didn't. So,
Graham, why did you need to bring up that you were related to the Weeds at all?
I didn't have to.
So why do it?
Because I was afraid that if I did not mention it, I would be a bracelet steal target, night kill target, and then the Weeds would come up, or if I was a day confrontation target, the Weeds would come up, and it would look really bad if I hadn't mentioned it.
Okay. Well, that's one way of playing it. But I feel like you could have, the longer you prolonged the conversation about the Weeds, the longer it would have taken for, say, Jellyfish or anyone else to come to that conclusion. So you were automatically from the get-go just like cutting your time span short. You were just like voluntarily giving people some days to figure things out about you.
Being honest with them, Kyle.
What?
Let them know how. I'm just being honest with them.
If I had this role, I would have gone in a number of other radically different directions. One of them just being, a troll, like actively participating, but in no way trying to forward the progress of the game, and just like kind of laughing as people tried to remove me from the game. Not necessarily from day one. Day 2, I probably would have like kept it tame but unhelpful, and then gone as soon as people like tried to come at me, I'd been like, bring it on, come on, like let's start this showdown. And alternatively, I just felt like you could have been like a really goody two shoes and like given no indications that you were like you could have gone for like being comically bad at the game, like gone to be like one step over the top, coming up with lists on this and lists on that. Have you looked under this rock, you guys? And just yucked it up the entire time. I feel like you went about this the most boring way possible.
I went for the win. That's why.
But I still feel like you actually hurt your goal more by us being like, hey, those Weeds, yeah, you guys figure that out. I don't know.
They're mine.
Am I totally off base here?
I think you're a little off base. Because Pathicus did reach out to me after the game, and he asked me, so you're pushing for town to win, right? I'm going to kind of try to clean up my reply because it's a lot of computer gibberish talk. But I said, not really. I took a specific line of play I need to type up in thread. I wanted to put myself in a position where I wasn't upsetting the town or the Mafia because I didn't want either side to really consider how to remove me that hard. I came out early about my ability because I wanted you guys to know, even if it wasn't necessarily believable, to try to not remove me at night and have the Weeds show up in the update early. That would have been bad. But because of that possibility, I also need to be honest with the town about the Weeds, blah, 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 blah. But then on the late game, I got super aggro because I figured it was probably the last day, and I needed to tie together some odds and ends to make me look town and address the fact that I thought Jelly was a threat because I was pretty confident at that time that he might have been Indy. And I was trying to subtly say, hey, I know who you guys are, kill Jelly, and it's why the Weed stayed on him going into the day phase, because I was hoping it was just going to go confront Jelly, then kill Atarian, and the game's over. So that was my end goal. But wasn't exciting enough for you, I guess, Kyle. So it
was very boring and it was unnecessarily risky, and that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I'd also just like to, while we're on the topic of Poteet, say this is my least favorite role in a very long time. I just feel like it was way too obtuse, and only someone like if Jellyfisher gets day 1 removed from the game, as he has on many occasions, I feel like no one has any semblance of a chance of coming up with the whimsy it would have required to remove him from the game, and therefore he just could have been an openly antagonistic anti-town person as opposed to the vaguely helpful one that he chose to be.
Thank you.
It was, yeah. There are some design choices I know I question.
I don't question this one. It was fun.
I don't know if Carolyn feels the same way, but
the indies I let you take. I remember we were
Here's
like
the bus.
we were like drafting them, and I was like, you do you, Philip. So I know I threw you under the bus.
Wow.
I'm
I
here for
haven't
this.
been
This is
thrown
good.
under a bus that hard since City Folk, and you get it, right? Because
Yeah.
there's a good. Wow.
All right. Enough about me. Absol Trainer. Carolyn, please.
He did play very well, but I didn't want to give him an A, so I gave him a B+. Because what we talked about, like he got many of the people early on. He actually used his ability very well, but my pride says don't give him an A, even though he deserves an A.
Okay.
In terms of pure gameplay, he gets an A. His reads were incredibly spot on. He used his role effectively. If they had listened to him at all, because he sent his dying letter where he nailed most of the anti-town people, then they would have had a really great place to start, but nobody looked back except for T-Cards who backed off of looking back.
Okay. That's all AT thoughts. All right. JD Koopa, Carolyn.
I gave him a C. But I don't really remember any like big posts or any big contributing posts that he had given. Like the first few days, I remember he kind of was coasting, and people were like, "Oh, is he playing or not?" Like Pathicus. I felt like the Mafia had chosen like kind of to do the lurker thing that has won them many games. But on the other side, when he realized that he was going to be the day lynch, I think he did a pretty good job of like trying to.
Carolyn.
Oh shoot! Day kill. I'm trying. We're trying. Yeah. He did a pretty good job of like trying to distance himself from his teammates.
I was surprised that Tomahawk chose him as his target. The one post that he made that you got on him for, Graham, was where he quoted you and Jellyfisher, and it was one where you said like, "This beautiful day will not end," in reply to Jellyfisher when he asked like what'll happen when you reach the threshold. And for some reason he tried to do a gotcha and was like, "It's silly of you both to forget this," even though you were saying it. I really didn't understand this, and yeah.
So I ended up giving him a B, mostly because of all the Mafia members, he had the least to go off of on, okay, this is some semblance of what town might look like if it's loosely based on your role structure. Which, funnily enough, we did have Maddie Stacks and I think one other person who looked somewhat like his, but yeah, he made a solid enough claim at first. It got less good as the game progressed and more information came out. He had that risky vote on Pathicus on day 2, so he was like what? I believe the 4th out of 6 votes.
That was the last one too.
So he did do some things, and I'm surprised that Tomahawk chose him as the seer target. I'm not sure he would have been caught without Tomahawk. Or it might have just taken a little bit longer. So he had some real weak spots in his play, but overall, I think he deserves to be.
Okay.
This is kind of unrelated. But Graham, something I want.
unrelated.
You're a stats guy. Something I was hoping
Yeah.
I could interest you in was I want to know.
Okay, I'm ready.
In games where a seer gets a hit, well, I want to know what the town's record is in
What
those
percentage?
games.
Do you have that in front of me? Do you want me to guesstimate, or do you?
No, I don't.
wonder?
I don't know. None of us have it, but I just find it like it's a red flag when a town can't win and that happens.
Do you think our stats guy's going to pull it up before we finish this pod?
Oh, there's no way he gets it today. That would take way too much time.
Maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll get it next time.
I could do the last 5 games.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Let's see. I don't even remember the last seer hit.
There was me in
In the
conflict resolution,
okay.
but I don't really count.
Right. That's all I can remember.
Wait,
Aside from
did
that-
Rex
didn't
get
Pathicus
someone
hit
in my
in
game?
Deathly Planets?
My
Deadly
all my
Planets.
games that they get
Alabro.
hit. Yeah, Mafia won that game.
I mean,
I don't even know if it's 50-50. Which feels really bad.
We'll have to
Yeah,
take a
you're just
closer look.
shaking your
head.
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's not as good as it should be, probably. But I'm gonna go unrelated tangent as well. Before I forget, even though we're gonna mention Master Mookow in a little bit, while we were talking about Mafia, and I think Carolyn brought up coasting. Can we put to bed that Mafia member never asked for a sub? Because Rax asks for a sub on day one, and
Yeah.
he was a Mafia member. So
They did
let's
it
just
to
go
prove a
ahead and-
point,
if
if
anyone
we're
ever-
being honest.
Oh, really? You think?
No, I'm just joking.
I know.
Yeah,
So,
and
let's get rid of that argument.
Pathicus had also said to me that if Rax and Kyle hadn't already both asked for subs, he would have asked for a sub as well.
Wow. 2 or 3 Mafia members. Okay. New meta. Town never asked for a sub.
Mm-hmm.
Suspect the subs being Mafia. Meta shift.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Apparently.
Yeah.
They're sleeper agents.
If
I
they
am
ask for
really
a sub,
looking-
they are Mafia, and we have to remove the sub as quickly as possible.
There we go. Submarine the sub. Sandwich. I'm really looking forward to these grades. Carolyn, tell me your opinions and facts on Matty Stacks.
I gave
Mr.
him a
Matthew.
D because of how he went out of the game.
Ooh,
I felt like
okay.
his first 2 days, like you had said earlier, were pretty good, and he had some good points. But he got really frustrated with his role, that like the outcome of his role with the slingshot, and then he didn't want to cooperate. It seemed like because he was just like so pissed that his role didn't come out the way that he wanted, which was just bad luck.
Congrats on getting engaged, Matty Stacks. Philip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Congratulations on getting engaged,
Yeah,
Maddie.
congrats on getting engaged.
I
But
have
you
notes
stunk.
on- I have notes on Maddie Stacks.
Yeah.
I gave him a D, and he only gets a D and not an F because he had some good play in his first couple days. However, he completely butchered his claim. He didn't even look up to his characters to see if it was a horse and not a cow. Which...
Yeah. And the name of the character is Renee, like you're neighing.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
How do you get a cow from that?
So, when he...
Sorry.
Are you? Because you threw me under the bus really hard.
I know, that's true.
So, when he paraphrased his flavor, he completely changed the tone of his flavor, and I know that definitely made it look worse than it was. He didn't see that he had bold text, and he didn't, use the full editor function, which I know he knows how to do because he literally said it later. He said he checked stuff later with full editor, so he could have known easily he had bold text, which everyone else had, and he just never went to check. Yeah, he got super focused on Poteet. His reading comprehension this game was just... It wasn't that great. I'm sorry, Maddie, but it
Public
wasn't.
schools have failed us.
Okay.
Oh,
He's definitely had better games.
he's had better games.
Yeah.
When Maddie is good, he is really good. And then there are the games like this. And I'm sorry, Maddie, but you get a D. And you almost got an F. But congratulations on getting engaged.
Yeah, that's right.
Wedding
That's a
bells.
compliment sandwich right there.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Pathicus. Carolyn.
I gave him a D.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had he half the time didn't know how he was still surviving. He would like text me, he like DM me and be like, "Oh yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna survive. We can talk about the game after the day," and then he'd still be alive, and he'd be like, "Wow, what happened? How am I still alive?" And he had I didn't think that he tried very, very hard to get people off of him. I think he just was inactive, and then people kind of got tired of waiting for him to post something, and then he didn't really post what was directed at him, and so I think people just forgot he was in the game, to be honest.
Yeah, I gave Pathicus a D as well, because my notes say, honestly, he just didn't play. Like, he should have been confronted on day 2. And then after that, it's pretty much everybody else made themselves look like better targets.
Is Pathicus still undefeated?
Is Pathicus undefeated?
This would be something for
No, he lost in Duck Holiday.
Oh, okay.
Because despite his best efforts, he made the wrong choices and joined the town.
Yeah.
He's almost undefeated.
He made the honorable but not the smart choice.
Yes.
Oh no, he tried to backpedal. He was in too far.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on from Pathicus, aka my brother Don Rossetti, which, by the way, I have to ask, I don't know anything about Animal Crossing. Quick tangent. Is Don Rossetti, is he like part of the Animal Crossing mob?
No.
Mafia?
No.
Oh,
I think
really disappointing.
So, because your character's original first name is Sonny Rossetti.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I do think that they were probably characters based off of Mafia things, because like Mafia movies, just because they used a lot of like things that were popular to influence the game, so it wouldn't have surprised me.
I'm gonna pretend he's Mafia.
Okay.
AWAST 1. Don't know why I included the 1. Carolyn, how did you feel about AWAST?
Let's see what I said. I put him at a B. I didn't think he did too bad, although he was a lot less chatty than he normally is in games.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was trying to live longer, and that's kind of why he wasn't posting as much, because he probably thought, oh, if I don't post a lot, people will kind of like live longer when they don't. So maybe I'll live longer, and then it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Because his was it bammering, I thought was pretty good, where it got on you so people could still see it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty good. So
I'm a big fan of those kind of roles.
Yeah, I gotta get my cat now. I'll be back.
No, goodbye. See you later. Philip,
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
I also gave him a B because, as I said, when the Mafia killed him, he was one of the people who made himself look most town. Let's see. He also pointed the flowers out, which, if he had lived, he probably would have brought more attention to the flowers. And he was definitely on the right track a couple times. He didn't do as much as he could have and probably should have.
Okay.
I mean, well, you know all about the transporter role from Town of Salem.
Love it.
How would you have played that?
Same way he did.
Because obviously it's always a town role.
No, but it's a good role. I enjoy that role a lot.
Yeah, I thought he did pretty good with his targets. So I just think he was trying to go for the long game and it didn't work, unfortunately, for him.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes the players don't even make it through the end of the night one, aka Renfield 89, who was replaced by Tomahawk. Carolyn, how'd you feel about Tomahawk? We touched on his seer play a little bit. Tell me more though.
Yeah, I gave him a C because the first 2 days I think he played, he didn't really post. That's why. He barely. Yeah. I was actually going back because I was like, is he actually playing the game? Because I went back and he was hitting minimums for stuff. So, but I mean, he did get a Mafia, so you gotta give him props for that. And he was onto
everyone
Jellyfisher.
Except for Mukau.
Yeah, he's onto Jellyfisher too, and he had gotten someone who had been the night kill. To like his guess. So, but they were dead, so everyone saw the flip.
Okay.
Yeah, he saw Absol Trainer on night one. So that's
it's a good one to target night one.
No, it definitely was, especially to verify all this stuff that Absol Trainer is putting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his reads were incredible. He even said Maddie Stacks read like Town who just got really unlucky. So if he had survived, then Maddie Stacks might not have had his untimely demise. Sorry, kick off the island because nobody dies in Animal Crossing. Yeah, I mean, Tomahawk definitely gets an A.
Oh, an A.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's one of, I think he's my only A this game. No, aside from Absol Trainer.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of A's and alliteration, before we get to Atarian's grade, I didn't miss anything. What he was doing was not required, correct?
No, it was not.
He did it on his own.
Holy moly.
There was one in his role text, so that's probably where he got the idea. Or maybe he just knows the character talks like that.
No, the character doesn't talk like that in the game. Oh. He was even DMing us in alliterations too. Like
oh my goodness!
He would be like asking us a question, and it would be like that, and I was like, "Damn, you're so good at this." And then he said he did it to his kids too.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at here is, while impressive, and I have said before, like, it doesn't matter how people post, like, take the information from it. I'm not going to lie. I was struggling to fully digest everything he was saying.
You did have to slow down.
Huh?
You did have to slow down whenever you got to one of his posts.
You do. I was going crazy trying to read all of them because there are so many times where it was like a double negative or something, kind of. It was bouncing, not a double negative as we understand it, but just like two words that cancel each other out. Oh my goodness.
I
and he
have.
played the whole time, which was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I appreciated the
props.
commitment as someone who
Me
spoke
too.
with an accent for most of one of my other games, and I kept some of my favorite posts from the game, which I figured we might get to a little bit later. But one of them was a beautiful turn of phrase where he said, "Really thought I revolted at remembering wrongly," and I thought that was the English teacher in me was like, "There's a star born here. You are meant to be poet laureate of HeyTrainer."
It was impressive because even the one day where I had to be happy because of the what I was targeted with or what the letter, I could barely stay happy the entire day and write superstar poems. But he kept it up for 5 days. 5 days. Props to you, Atarian. All right, go ahead, Carolyn. Tell me though, how did you feel he played? As you said, he was the last town member standing. Is this a good thing or bad thing? Tell me.
I gave him, in terms of like play, like a C-ish, but in terms of like role play, an A.
Good role play.
Yeah, because he stayed Bengal the whole time. I was impressed. And then I'd be like writing things, and Philip would be like, "Don't send that to don't do that. You put Bengal instead of Atarian." So I was really impressed by that. But his gameplay, I think, because of it, when he had any ideas, they didn't really stick because it was like you had to get through so much stuff to kind of understand what he was trying to get at. And I think that people just gave up and then kind of skipped his posts.
And even while he was doing it, I felt like his average posts were longer than his average posts in a normal game. So
Yeah.
Somehow he found more words all of a sudden. Oh, man.
I think if he had put like TLDRs at the very bottom,
but then that would have broken character.
That's true. That's true.
If only you guys should have followed behind him with like a little bot that spit back out what he was saying in plain English for us.
Yeah, because I also gave him a C.
Okay.
Because nobody could understand anything he was trying to say.
Oh, man. I could understand it. Just took way more time than I was interested.
Yeah, like, I appreciate the commitment. I appreciate how hard that is.
Oh my gosh, I know.
But at the same time, last town standing in this case was not a good thing.
I even appreciate that he was doing it to his kids. Had to live through it.
That's wild.
Oh yeah,
that's
might as well spread the pain.
That's wild.
But
so Atarian, A for effort and commitment to the alliteration Atarian from here out.
But just he should have just not gone down that road the entire game, and it really hurt him.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and then going from someone that was very memorable in terms of remembering their posts in the thread, I believe we're gonna have our first and complete grade here, unless I'm incorrect. Why so nice? Day 1, courageous confrontation. Carolyn, did you even get enough information to give him a grade?
No, I put don't know. Don't know.
Don't know. All right, didn't know. We don't know. I think that's fair. Philip, did you give him a grade?
No.
It's so difficult to grade someone for a day phase.
Like, I guess maybe he could have been more convincing, but also it's day 1. They kind of latched on for no real reason other than, oh hey, you said something weird first. So, not his game.
Yeah. Formerly Rax. Carolyn, give me your thoughts. Master Moo Cow.
I gave him an A because he lived until the end of the game.
Okay.
But I thought that there were some lies that he had that were kind of like the cookie one because he had the day chat ability, but he could only use it once per game. And I was pretty sure that they would have been like, oh man, how is he always picking people who are dying at night at some point? But no one ever went back to the cookies. Except for, I think, T-Cards that was like post game.
Holy moly.
He was like, cookies are a thing that Mafia would. Oh, wait. Let me read it, actually. Oh, giving people cookies at night to make you feel good is totally a Mafia thing to do. But they didn't look at like the or think about how he was actually targeting people. So, like the first night he picked someone who died. I think day 3 he said he picked someone who had passed. And then he had done the day chat on one day. So I thought they could have picked up on that. And he actually had a better, what I thought was better in the Mafia chat, but I have to go find it. So, but I thought he did pretty good for living as long as he did.
Yeah.
And usually his lies get him killed because he likes to lie about things that you don't know why he'd lie about. Like the go-go thing with the Crobat.
Go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Philip.
So I'm not quite as optimistic as Carolyn.
Oh.
I did give him a B, but he's another person I have notes on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you said you had thoughts on him earlier, and I'm kind of curious because I thought he was pretty solid this game.
So in terms of his play, he was pretty good. It's his claim.
Okay, you would know more about that than me, I guess. So go ahead.
Okay, so Master Mukau claimed that he can target any 2 players in the game and set up a chat between any 2 players. Which means he sends out 2 cookies each night.
Right.
He claimed night 1 he sent a cookie to, I think it was you, and to Absol Trainer. So he then confirmed, I can send cookies to 2 different people. And then nobody ever followed up on that because it was a lie. He can only send out 1 cookie a night. So night 2 he said he did himself in T-Cards, which, okay, that's great. He made that go off. But nobody ever asked him to send out cookies to 2 other people. He could only use his day chat once, so...
Yeah, I guess the town should have just said, hey, show us your town and send the cookies to player X and Y.
Yeah.
I mean, the town didn't pick up on that, which is great for him.
To be honest, I didn't think of that till now.
Like, he made this claim that's so easily falsifiable. And just nobody ever did. And then on day 4, when he claimed that he submitted the item, his umbrella, and then he forgot to submit the cookies. Like, he got to the end of the game with a claim that he only proved once, and nobody...
Right.
They instead chose to day kill T-Cards. So, like, his day play was fine. I think he played a pretty solid game, but his claim... His claim... And he managed to end up on, I think, Absol Trainer's list and Johnny Bones' list. And somehow he didn't get killed. So, definitely a B. Just, it was a pretty big misplay that it should have gotten him killed. But it didn't, so, you know.
Yeah. You win something, better be lucky than good sometimes, right?
Yeah, and I mean, he has a history of doing this with character lies. Like, and making up more than he needs to. Like when he was, I think it was in your game, and I think he was like Osama or something, and then
Yeah.
he had said this thing, and it was like kind of wacky, and then people, okay, let's just get him. So sometimes I think he embellishes too much. If that makes sense.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all the grades. Kyle, do you have any other thoughts? Not all at once, though.
Not on grades. No.
Do you have generic thoughts?
I had my favorite post from the game.
Okay. You know what? Give us some stuff. We haven't heard a lot. Go ahead.
My favorite post was an AWAS post.
Okay.
And it was in retort to Maddie Stack saying, "Surely the presents can't be all that bad." And AWAS goes, #remember the crates, #Harry the Herdier, #Mafia awareness day. It was a nice throwback to some salt from previous Absol Trainer victory. I had another post, but this was more of a slops, and they're aimed at you, Mr. Poteet.
Oh, okay.
You threw around some haikus, and one of them was coquettish combine before soft superstar mash at the old window. Now, you got coquettish and combine. Is this combine a noun, like a farm combine, or is this the verb to combine something?
I have no idea.
In either case, you can't use an adjective in this way. So I felt like, did you mean concubine? Coquettish concubine?
No. So the way I was coming up with the haikus was I essentially went to a Mad Lib generator of haikus, and it would ask me for like a couple words, like 4 or 5 words, and I'd fill them in, and then it generated the haiku for me. So like I didn't even put coquettish. Like it was like I put in like flirty or something like that.
Well, the thing is, it's like it's kind of dirty. It's like I'm getting an image of Superstar trying to mash at the window. I'm assuming this means copulate, But it would have made totally more sense if combine was concubine, because then it would have been, someone who he'd paid for the mashing services. So you were so close to a good one, and I just wanted to let you know some notes for the future.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind if I ever post haikus again.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Carolyn, do you have any random thoughts? Do you want to talk about haikus or anything too, or? Do you have any favorite posts? Any favorite moments? Any bad moments?
Do we want to nominate someone for burning the town to the ground, or an MVP?
Ooh, yeah. Or you can give us your thoughts on running a game. Will you be doing it again? This was the first one that you had been a part of.
I really liked the writing part, and then the coming up with roles, and then some fun flavor text. That was a lot of fun. I think Philip had a lot of fun too, right? Yeah. There were parts of it where Philip was like, "What are you on?"
Oh, I literally asked her if she's on drugs. I think a half dozen times. Okay. She says no, but
yeah.
Okay. Could be werewolf in you.
Maybe.
So would you run another?
I think.
Or would you assist with another?
I'd probably co-host with again. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully it'll be easier if I get another job, because then I won't be working so late.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had to like change the schedule a little bit to work a little bit better for both of us, and then we also had done it because Pathicus was like, "Oh man, I'm at work at that time," so we had pushed it back a night, and then he could play. So that's kind of a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
And I like doing the updates, and the the little flavor things in town was fun.
Just go ahead and say it. You don't like making vote tallies. I don't either.
Okay, but seriously, it was pretty hard to follow the game without vote tallies. There were a lot of times where I was just like, I have no idea what's going on in this game, because I can't tell who has votes and who doesn't.
Kick him from the call.
Well, it was because they would go days without, or like pages without voting. So we were just doing tallies after they would vote.
It didn't help that. So my class started, and it turned out that the days that the cycles ended were the days the assignments were all due.
Did you consider not doing your homework?
Yes, actually, that happened the first Sunday.
Oh my gosh, Philip, shame on you.
I know. It was submitted late.
Oh, I hope the teacher gave you full credit.
No. The things I do.
Kyle would have given you full credit.
I don't take off late points for any of my assignments.
See? That's a teacher right there. Philip, did you have any favorite posts or moments or comments, loose comments you wanted to make right here?
That entire day where you had to be nice, and every single exchange between you and Jellyfisher.
What about him? You just enjoyed him? You like me calling him a jelly bean?
After you said what a great day it is, Jellyfisher, and what a great day Pal Teat. You totes got that right. Let's find some meanings together. Wee! I totes love to be the jelly to your potinut butter.
Oh gosh.
Get out of here.
Let's see, it was potinut butter and jelly sandwich pals for life in there somewhere.
Yeah. I think you called me like the potinut like the rest of the game.
I enjoyed that.
Well, good. I'm glad you got some enjoyment out of it. It's fun.
I like
Oh, go ahead, Carolyn. Go ahead.
I like this one between Johnny and T-Cards where Johnny's like, what is name claiming accomplish? Bell claiming ability, flavor. We don't know what it'll accomplish until we try it. What are you so afraid of? And T-Card goes, not afraid, just belligerent. And then he looks it up and he goes, belligerent, inclined or eager to fight, hostile or aggressive. How does that help accomplish anything? Well, hopefully we will see when CC coops. And so he goes, so you literally have no excuse for not posting it. Good to know. I like
some
that
class.
one.
That's
Yeah.
some T-Cards right there. Makes no sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know, right? But he did get coops in that.
He did. He
Yeah.
did it. God, we didn't talk about this before. Do you have a moment of Zen?
I do.
To share with?
Does
Carolyn and Philip?
You want to open up to our guests, maybe?
Yeah, of course I do. And Alex. Who is looking
Oh, it's
belligerent
fine. I
on
don't
the
get
other-
notes anymore. It's cool.
Oh, you got notes. Okay.
Well,
Give
we're
me some
unretiring the
notes.
segment.
I
Give me
miss
some
1
Raptor Zone
week,
news.
and all of a sudden I don't give notes anymore.
Give me some Raptor Zone news.
Jesus.
Hey, this
Come
is
on,
his
I don't
outline,
give
not
them
mine.
anymore.
Don't be mad at me.
I'm sorry. I completely forgot.
I actually don't really
Go
even
ahead.
have that many notes.
Well, I want them.
I just wrote
What
this
you have,
down
I
as
want.
interest. Mr. Poteet also used Wikipedia entrances for his flavor text. And,
I did.
someone figured that out, but no one really cared either.
Uh-huh.
I looked into the seer stuff, but it's tough because there's always some sort of circumstance that goes with it where it's not a normal seer, or Graham lets the seer join the Mafia team after getting a successful hit, or some games just don't have a seer. So, I mean, yes, but with HeyTrainer games, you're mostly going to find that Mafia mostly wins, so even when there was a seer hit, it didn't matter.
Great. Cool. Thanks.
Thank you for that.
It wasn't the seer intentionally. What? So is that all your notes?
And then, like I did last game, I counted up all the posts to see where everyone landed. Does anyone want to guess who was the most?
Someone that lives all day. Jelly.
That was going to be my guess.
Jelly. Carolyn, do you have a guess?
I think it's Jellyfisher.
Jelly was number 3.
Okay,
really?
Guess again. I'll guess Atarian next.
Atarian is number 5.
Wait, let me...
Really?
Yeah.
Was it Maddie?
It was Maddie. Maddie outpaced everyone by like 40 posts.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Number 2.
It was off a day, too.
Okay.
Number 2 is on this podcast, Mr. Poti.
Am I
Really?
number 2? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jelly was number 3.
Hello.
So when you have Maddie and 2 independents steering most of the conversation, you get a Mafia win. JD Koopa had the most Mafia posts. He was 6th place. Then Master Mukau
Did Pathicus have the least amount of posts in the game?
No. Well, Weiss had the least. And then Tomahawk was 2nd least. Then Pathicus was 3rd least.
So Pathicus played a full game and was only ahead of that person that died on night 3 and day 1. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all the Mafia were sort of in the middle to lower pack. And then the independents
That's the stats
just
we
did what
need.
they wanted.
I want to know where living Mafia players, how many posts they posted that lived till the end of the game.
I mean, I think you're going to find it mostly just aligns with the player themselves because
Probably.
obviously Absol died early this game, but he's usually top 3 no matter what alignment he is.
Yeah.
Whereas you also are usually going to be in the top no matter what alignment you are.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
And I think Pathicus leans, he posts like I post. He posts when he thinks it matters, whether he's Mafia or Town.
Mm-hmm. One day I'm just going to play a game where I post like the bare minimum.
There's no way you can do that.
I'll do Master Dancer.
Oh, wait, you did that.
You can't do that.
You did that in Murder Most Foul, and you just coasted to a victory. Or no, that was your Crobat game.
To be fair to him, he was busy being Crobat.
Yeah, I did.
Leading the town by the nose.
Any more facts? Stats, facts, guy.
We're good. We can move on.
Okay. All right. Cool. Kyle, you can lead Moment of Zen since this is kind of your corner.
Okay.
You can tell. Carolyn, Philip, are you familiar with the Moment of Zen?
Nope.
Oh, fill him in, Kyle.
This is just when we put a personal touch on as we wrap up.
Oh yeah.
You can share something from your everyday life that's funny or maybe just interesting or that you think will tickle our audience. But it doesn't have to be today. It could be since we last heard from you, and that maybe it could be your whole life right now for all you know.
Yeah.
So I'll go first. Graham and Alex will have heard the first part of this one, but I have another thing to add. So I've been having a lot of dreams lately. I had a dream a couple weeks ago. I was telling them about where so it was my sister and I were living in a post-apocalypse that was not so different from something you'd see in Mad Max. It was very bleak and grim colors and very violent. And in my dream, my sister and I were hunter-gatherers, and we were taking care of our grandparents in a pit that had many protruding spikes that were hard to navigate through to get into the part that we lived in the bottom. And this dream took course over weeks. Like time was just flying by in the dream. And I was just hoarding like utensils and knickknacks and food, and just trying not to get caught by people going by on like RVs with weapons all over them. And the dream came to an end as we were descending back into our Sarlacc pit-esque home, and as I get it to the bottom, my sister and I were getting in an argument while my grandparents were getting into an argument. And we had become so accustomed to it, we had stopped kind of helping them, and we had all these bad blood going on between us because we were arguing. And suddenly, one of my grandparents slips, and she goes through one of the spikes that we booby trapped the pit with, and gets like mid-head decapitated, like right in front of us, and like just tumbles to my feet. It was so brutal.
What the fuck?
That is how I woke up that morning. So just put a pin in that. Let me take you into
Wow.
my
Put a pin in the head, or
No, hey, don't make it worse. So now let's fast forward to this morning and my dream. So in this particular dream, my girlfriend and I were living in a post-apocalypse.
oh, no.
And this one is we're living in a basement, and the basement is really reminiscent of something from like The Last of Us 2, where like you wander in, there's like a mist or a fog or spores, wasn't clear, lots of grays and blues and blacks, very dim. And so there's this dust in the air, and we're like living kind of like in a homeless kind of way, where we just kind of foraged and coated ourselves in many coats. Must be very cold. And we're in like this hoarder's basement. We've just got like blankets on top of all kinds of things like that were down here, like lamps and chairs and other knickknacks. And so it goes on like this for a few days. We're just kind of like trying to exist in this cold, desolate future. And so fast forward now to the point of it's the end of the dream. So we're huddled around this bleak little flame trying to get any sense of warmth. And I turn and I wade my way through the hoarder kind of halls we've accumulated of boxes stacked on top of one another. I'm pushing my way through. I get to the other end of the basement, and I'm getting the sense that, do I even ever go to this side of the basement, or am I only ever occupying the other side I've been on for the rest of the dream? So it's like unfamiliar territory over here. And I encounter this giant nest, a nest like the size of a sofa. And so there's like hay and crushed eggs and debris and scraps that maybe were feasted on. And in this nest, I like blink, and what I thought was just a stationary, maybe still art I was kind of looking at, this elk arises. This elk that looked like an optical illusion. Like I was looking at it, and it looked like there was nothing there. And then as it moved, I was like, oh, it was always there, this elk. Now the elk moves, and when it gets up, there are fresh eggs underneath it. There are like dinosaur eggs underneath this elk. And the elk gets up, scampers out of the room, but I'm transfixed by the eggs, which are simultaneously all hatching. And out of the eggs comes what but these oversized, long-necked crows. These crows that have like gray feathers coming off of them. And they all lunge in a different direction, and my vision is obscured. And that is how I woke up this morning.
Wow.
Is it bad that
How do
entire
you
time?
remember them? Do you have to like recite your dream right after you have it?
No, I just kind of try to remember a little bit more and a little bit more. And but usually I hit a point at like 11 where I can't remember anymore. But
You write it down.
no,
How
I
much
just
did you
tell
eat before
somebody.
bed?
I used to. I had a dream journal a few years ago that I was recording them, but they would just become tedious, so I'd stop keeping up with it.
Are they all this vivid?
Yeah.
Do you dream this vivid every time?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, that sounds
You must be
exhausting.
like anxious about something.
Everything. Oh.
Someone
Right.
was trying to interpret one of my. I sometimes I tell the other teachers at work about them, and one of them was like, "Oh, that one about the decapitated grandparent. That must have been about how you feel like helpless to take care of them in this pandemic we're living through." And I was like, "Don't get in my personal business like that."
It's deep.
As it said that entire story, I just thought, I was kind of going to relate this back to poop somehow.
No. No, not in my dreams, just in my regular.
No poop story this week.
Wow.
Yuck. Alex, you got anything?
This weekend, my wife and I went to a state park here in Indiana and hiked some trails.
Which one?
We went to Brown County.
Okay.
And I was looking at the trail map, and I saw a nice trail that there's a short walk, a short hike, and then you get to a lake, and then it was a nice hike around a lake. And I was like, well, this one looks nice. And I looked at it, and it said easy/rugged. And I was like, well, it says easy, so it's probably easy. Turns out they only meant easy was the walk around the lake, which was a lot of it was boarded and leveled out, and it was a nice walk around the lake.
Easy.
The hike to the lake was very rugged. It was mostly uphill, lots of tree roots and rocks you had to get around, and so the lesson of the story is if the trail map says it's rugged, it's probably rugged.
Yeah, that was like, those are opposites. How can they be both?
That's what I thought. I was like, okay, it can't be that rugged if it says easy. But it turns out there were two separate parking lots. One parking lot you could park at the rugged entrance, and then the other parking lot you could just park by the lake and just walk the easy lake part. I didn't realize that, so
Did you go do the whole trail though?
oh yeah. It ended up being like 3 miles total. Round trip. So, yeah.
It's not that
It was
bad.
in nature. So, we aren't
10
experienced
miles a day.
hikers like Poteet, who climbs mountains regularly.
Yeah, I seen the pictures. I was like, damn.
I'm a big hiker. I climb some mountains. I walk a lot during the day. Carolyn, you got a moment of zen?
Yes.
Give it to us.
So every year I take pictures of my cat and I put him in a cute, super, super cute outfit.
Okay.
And then,
For Halloween or?
No, for Christmas. I'm already
Okay.
thinking about Christmas, okay?
Okay.
So,
all right. But it's okay.
So it's really fun because I get to go to the store. I find another cute outfit for him. I shove it on him. He cries for 15 minutes. I take the picture. And then he doesn't wear it anymore. So I spend like, $15-20 on a little outfit for him that he only wears for 15 minutes of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mail out like 40-50 cards for Christmas to all kinds of people, whoever wants one really. And it brings me a lot of joy. So I'm really excited because it's almost November, which means that I can start collecting stuff. And I like going Christmas shopping, so like I've already found what I'm getting Philip and his family.
Lucky you, Philip.
Yeah,
Pressure's
lucky
on,
Philip.
Philip.
Oh, I've had her gift since what? June? June.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people.
Oh yeah, and then me and Philip, as soon as like basically November hits, we start listening to Christmas music together.
Hmm?
I do love Christmas
Yeah.
music.
What's your favorite Christmas song?
My favorite. I have a favorite album.
Okay,
I like
that works.
Michael Bublé's Christmas album. That's probably my favorite Christmas album. I don't like him for anything else but Christmas music.
The boob.
But it's a little excessive. And then when I was working at the group home, I would because I used to do overnights in my former life, I'd play Christmas music all night. And sometimes the kids would wake up and they'd be like, "Why are you listening to Christmas music already?" But whatever, I love it.
Okay.
It's my favorite.
Do what you love. Philip.
And if anyone wants a card, let me know and I will send you one.
That too.
Plug.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shameless plug.
Philip, you got a moment of zen? Did you do any baking this week?
No, not this week. We were going to do nice saffron seafood risotto, but that got pushed back. But, sure, just
Went over my head. Saffron what?
seafood risotto.
That's a Saffron City. That's a city in Pokemon.
Yes, actually. It's also a very expensive spice. Like, oh my gosh.
Okay.
But yeah, so my moment of zen is our very own Borichu got me a cookbook
Oh.
full of Hungarian recipes.
Oh. Okay, good. I thought you were gonna say Australian, and it was just like how to cook huge spiders on the Barbie.
Gosh.
Gross.
On the Barbie.
On the Barbie. That's what they call it, right?
No, here's all the 2 Australian animals that won't kill you.
It's fish and
It's a very thick cookbook.
I don't think.
No, she got me a Hungarian cookbook, and
Okay.
I've made some stuff out of it, and it's all been so delicious so
What have you
far.
made?
I have pictures I can show, but
Okay, well, this is an audio medium, Philip.
yeah, but I can show you guys.
Okay.
If you guys want
Give
pictures,
me-
contact Philip.
No, please don't.
We'll put pictures in the show notes.
Oh, and you have to tell them about your bread.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So I make bread. I have a sourdough starter of my own. He's named Bredgar Allen Doe.
Oh my god.
Atarian would be proud.
Oh my goodness. Uh-huh.
And he right now is being frozen, so I don't have to take care of him every single week because that gets annoying. But yeah, I make sourdough bread, and it's a labor of love that can take like 15 hours, but it's delicious.
Sourdough is my favorite bread.
Sourdough's a good bread. It's not my favorite, but it's a good bread.
I love sourdough too.
Not a fan.
Alex, do you not like sourdough?
Not a fan.
What? That's just white bread.
No,
It's
sourdough's
sour.
tier
What
1.
did you just say?
Sourdough's A tier,
S tier.
and then you've got no. there's no such
Careful,
thing.
careful.
It's sourdough
Got
tier.
sourdough
It's S
is
tier.
A tier.
S for
No,
sourdough.
no,
then
get your S tier
Dark
garbage out
rye
of here.
is right up there.
Rye,
So
rye would be
weird.
my top A tier.
Pumpernickel.
Yeah.
Gotta have that.
I
Over-
don't have
overrated.
bread. I don't have bread rankings. I'm sorry.
Well,
yeah.
we can make a podcast about it.
And I like, because every time Philip makes a new like sourdough bread, he puts like new patterns on them.
Uh-huh.
So he's been doing like dinosaur patterns that are cute.
I like a good ciabatta.
Me too.
Thank you.
I just saw your
Or a,
optical illusion.
or a
Go to hell.
focaccia. Huh? What'd you say?
I just saw the optical illusion comment. Get out of here.
Oh no, it wasn't me. My moment of zen is my oldest son, who is 5 and in kindergarten, was nominated a couple months ago for what's called Best Buddies. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Kyle. Do they do that up in your school? Okay, so he's a mentor is not the right word because he's 5. He's not mentoring anybody, but it's a program for like intellectually or physically disabled children, and they get paired with a student in the like the classroom that's in the full-time classroom. So like they wanted to pair my son with one of these students, and so they did. And so like they play at recess during certain like Wednesdays and Fridays, and they come into classroom occasionally, and they hang out with the best buddy. They get some one-on-one time. The kids that might not be fortunate enough to spend time with other kids get to socialize with him. Anyway, so he was telling me one day I picked him up from school. My wife was out of town this past week, so I was doing all the drop-offs and whatnot, and I picked him up on Friday, and he said that he had played with his best buddy again this week because it started this week. And I was like, "Oh, did you have fun?" He's like, "Yeah, I had a lot of fun." I was like, "Oh, what's your buddy's name?" And without missing a beat, he goes, "Huh, I don't know. I guess I should ask him."
That's amazing.
Aw.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's my big heart boy right there. That will not be my 3-year-old. Absolutely not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a bowling ball. My 5-year-old's soft and sensitive, so That's all. I got
That's
nothing
cute.
else. I got nothing else. And on a wholesome note, I guess. Philip, you got anything else you want to say, Carolyn? Anything else you want to say?
Thank you for having us on.
Oh yeah.
You're welcome.
Like I love doing these.
Host another one and we'll do it again.
I mean, Patrick and I have
Those were Carolyn.
two already in the works. Patrick's completed a game by himself. We have,
I have no
plans for
games.
2 more.
Okay.
And we're stupid, I know.
Do you guys want to workshop an idea really quick I had today?
Okay.
Okay.
So I had this idea for a Mafia game where if at the end of the first vote, right, let's say I got 7 votes.
The first day?
Yeah, the first day vote. Let's say I got 7 votes, I'm out, and Graham got 6 votes, and so got 4 votes. I had the idea like day 2, you'd introduce the regular vote threshold, but then the cumulative vote threshold. So yeah, Graham's 6 votes would carry over, and then the cumulative vote threshold would be like 3 or 4 votes higher than the regular vote threshold. So like while anyone would need, like 6 votes, or for example, in this example, like to get removed, Graham would only need like 4 votes this day because he had this negative cred from the previous day. So like there'd be this idea of like cumulatively, if you've been looking suspect over the course of the game, then that would penalize you. But then the error I came up with was, by the end of the game, if the Mafia were winning, they could immediately vote someone out who was at the top of the cumulative vote list. So
that had already come in my head, yeah.
Yeah, so how could we improve this idea?
This is like
just
Black Mirror,
go ahead.
Mafia game with the social clout.
Yeah.
Just so I'm clear, you're saying, let's say using me, you said I had 6 votes and then it took me 4, whatever, the next day. You would remove, and any 6 that were on that could then vote for me, and I would just need 4 then, right? Like you're not keeping the names on the next tally?
It would be like, so the cumulative threshold would be 6, or no, the regular threshold would be 6, but in the cumulative threshold,
like 3 or 4.
It would be like 9, and you would already have, and underneath it, it'd be like Graham has 6 already.
Right, and anyone that was on the original 6 could vote again,
Yes.
and it would count towards the new 3.
In my original idea, yeah, at least.
Okay.
Well, so what if it was something like, we'll steal Graham's idea of a tribunal, where they have a certain amount of votes they can remove from players, and they can distribute that with discussion amongst themselves, so...
Oh, a cumulative rollover that gets redistributed each day? I'm on board with this. No.
Not even necessarily redistributed.
I think that would be fun. I did like the idea of like getting onto the council when I was playing as Vlad.
Okay.
You really fucked me though. Yeah, you told me it was. I texted him. I was like, "Hey, is this in the right region?" And he goes,
I thought it was.
Looks like it is. And then Absol's like, "That's
Wikipedia
not
said
fair." And so then I got killed.
That's the Wikipedia told me.
That's what Wikipedia told you?
To be fair, you
Wikipedia
didn't get
told me.
voted out.
And as
Alabro
Alex
just
pointed out, I got
decided to get rid of you.
No, I know.
Thank you.
But I was gonna get voted out
Yeah.
if he didn't do that. So
All right. So, cumulative voting, redistribution, socialist mafia.
I like it.
Maybe the way to fix it is so that you can't like vote for someone if you previously voted for them. But then I feel like you wouldn't be able to get the votes.
What if you vote and there's a cumulative total, but instead of the cumulative total being how many you need, it's how much your vote is worth the next day?
How do you value people's votes?
Okay, so let's say, for math simplicity's sake, let's say I received 5 votes, and each vote removes 0.1 from my
Oh, I have a
total,
better
so now-
idea already. What if
now
we
my
had
vote's
like
worth 0.5.
like a runoff kind of vote where like you had like a first place vote and a second place vote?
Ooh.
Ranked choice voting.
Yeah, ranked
Yeah.
choice voting.
Yeah.
So
Maybe we're on to something.
This is what the Oscars used, and a lot of people advocate for the presidential election.
what if Mafia with electoral college rules?
Everyone is a state. You're California. You get to assign your votes to whoever you want.
Yes, but wait, so who's the mafia in this situation?
The Midwest.
But they've got so many states that wouldn't work.
Okay.
It's like a town, but there's only like New York and California. They're playing with like 12 people, but like their votes still matter more than everyone else's.
Right.
Yeah,
There's something there.
if you get
There's
Wyoming,
something
your
there.
vote is worth like 7 times California's.
Some poor person gets like Puerto Rico.
Oh, you don't count.
All right, on that
Something
note,
there.
we can
Okay.
workshop it the rest next time.
Yeah. Well, all right. Yeah. Let's
The
workshop
question
it.
is-
Thanks for listening, everybody. Oh.
is-
What?
Is Raptor Zone keeping this in the podcast?
If he's not, that's kind of sad, don't you think? You gonna cut this? This is gold.
I guess you'll have to find out. You'll have to listen.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, thank you everybody for joining us and this wonderful recap. And again, Carolyn and Philip, thank you for the game. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, whenever we talk about something else.